In the annals of human history, few concepts have proven as insidious and destructive as the mental virus of stupidity. This pernicious force, identified and eloquently articulated by the renowned German theologian and anti-Nazi dissident Dietrich Bonhoeffer, continues to plague societies across the globe, undermining reason, compassion, and progress. Bonhoeffer's insights into the nature of stupidity, forged in the crucible of one of humanity's darkest hours, offer a timeless warning against the dangers of intellectual complacency and moral abdication. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, born in 1906 in Breslau, Germany, was a man of extraordinary intellect and moral courage. As a Lutheran pastor and theologian, he witnessed firsthand the rise of the Nazi regime and the catastrophic consequences of widespread societal stupidity. His observations, penned while imprisoned by the Nazis for his resistance activities, provide a chilling analysis of how stupidity can take root and flourish within a populace, leading to unthinkable atrocities and the erosion of human dignity. At the heart of Bonhoeffer's thesis lies a crucial distinction between stupidity and a lack of intelligence. He posited that stupidity is not an intellectual defect, but rather a moral one. This insight challenges the common misconception that education alone can eradicate stupidity. Instead, Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity is a choice, a willful abandonment of critical thinking and moral responsibility in favor of conformity and self-preservation. The mechanisms by which stupidity spreads are both subtle and powerful. Like a virus, it infects individuals and communities, often without their conscious awareness. Bonhoeffer observed that certain conditions in society could create fertile ground for the proliferation of stupidity. Chief among these is the concentration of power in political and economic spheres. When power becomes centralized, it creates an environment where independent thought is discouraged and blind obedience is rewarded. This dynamic leads to a dangerous feedback loop. As more individuals succumb to stupidity, they become easier to manipulate and control. Those in power, recognizing the utility of a compliant populace, further incentivize stupidity through propaganda, misinformation, and the suppression of dissenting voices. The result is a society where critical thinking atrophies and moral courage becomes increasingly rare. One of the most insidious aspects of stupidity, as Bonhoeffer noted, is its resistance to reason and argument. Unlike ignorance, which can be remedied through education and exposure to new ideas, stupidity actively resists enlightenment. Those in its grip become impervious to facts and logic, clinging stubbornly to their beliefs even in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary. This intransigence makes stupidity a particularly formidable foe in the battle for truth and justice. Bonhoeffer's observations on the relationship between stupidity and power remain strikingly relevant in today's world. In an era of mass media, social networks, and sophisticated propaganda techniques, the potential for the spread of stupidity has never been greater. The echo chambers of the digital age can amplify and reinforce stupid ideas, creating insular communities that are increasingly disconnected from reality. Moreover, the complexities of modern life, from global economics to climate change, can overwhelm individuals, making them more susceptible to simplistic explanations and scapegoating. This cognitive overload can lead people to embrace stupid ideas as a form of psychological relief, a way to make sense of a chaotic world without having to engage in the difficult work of critical analysis. The consequences of widespread stupidity are far-reaching and profound. On a societal level, it can lead to the erosion of democratic institutions, the rise of authoritarianism, and the perpetuation of injustice. Economically, it can result in poor decision-making, inefficiency, and the misallocation of resources. Environmentally, stupidity manifests in the denial of scientific evidence and the failure to address existential threats like climate change. Perhaps most troublingly, stupidity corrodes the very fabric of human relationships. It breeds mistrust, fuels conflict, and undermines the empathy and understanding necessary for social cohesion. In its most extreme forms, as Bonhoeffer witnessed in Nazi Germany, stupidity can lead to the dehumanization of entire groups of people, paving the way for atrocities and genocide. Given the grave dangers posed by stupidity, how can individuals and societies inoculate themselves against this mental virus? Bonhoeffer's writings offer some guidance. He emphasized the importance of moral courage and the willingness to stand against the tide of popular opinion when necessary. This requires cultivating a strong sense of individual responsibility and a commitment to truth, even when it is uncomfortable or inconvenient. Education, while not a panacea, remains a crucial tool in combating stupidity. However, it must be education that goes beyond the mere transmission of information. Critical thinking skills, media literacy, and ethical reasoning must be at the forefront of educational efforts. People must be taught not just what to think, but how to question assumptions, evaluate evidence, and reach reasoned conclusions. Furthermore, societies must strive to create environments that value and reward intellectual honesty and moral integrity. This means fostering a culture of open debate and respectful disagreement, where ideas can be challenged without fear of retribution. It also requires building institutions that are transparent, accountable, and resistant to the concentration of power that Bonhoeffer identified as a breeding ground for stupidity. The fight against stupidity is not merely an academic exercise, it is a moral imperative. As Bonhoeffer's life and work demonstrate, the consequences of allowing stupidity to flourish are too dire to ignore. Each individual bears a responsibility to resist the allure of simplistic thinking and to cultivate the intellectual and moral fortitude necessary to confront complex realities. In conclusion, Dietrich Bonhoeffer's insights into the nature of stupidity offer a sobering reminder of the ongoing threat posed by this mental virus. His words, born from the crucible of one of history's darkest chapters, continue to resonate in the present day. By heeding his warnings and embracing the challenge of critical thinking and moral courage, societies can hope to build a future that is more just, compassionate, and resistant to the ravages of stupidity. The path forward is not easy, but as Bonhoeffer's life exemplifies, it is a journey worth undertaking for the sake of humanity's future.